It is finally UFC 303. It's happening. It's here. It's fight week. These past 4 weeks have been the craziest roller coaster. 5 weeks ago, we all thought it was the return date of Conor McGregor taking on Michael Chandler here in Las Vegas. But 2 weeks ago, this completely just took a flop. You got Alex Pereira taking on Jiri Prochazka again for that light heavyweight belt. Plus, you got Diego Lopez fighting Brian Ortega on possibly a title eliminator fight.
It's not
How crazy is this?
It's not just a fact that it's a rematch. It's not just a fact that they fought before less than a year ago back in November. It's what you just said there. 2 weeks notice. Not only is it 2 weeks notice for the main event, but for the co-main event as well. But particular, this fight, I think it makes the biggest difference. Fighting on 2 weeks notice. Because you have a guy like Alex Pereira who just came off a big time KO over the former champion on one of the biggest cards to ever happen in UFC 300. And then you have a guy like Jiri Prochazka who also fought that same night, who had a spectacular knockout over Alexander Rakic. So this fight is crazy. It was a crazy fight on the first fight. I had no idea who was going to win. And yet again, here I am again, another prediction show, not knowing what's going to happen.
Nah, the key thing that's going to happen in this fight, and let's be honest, Alex Pereira will be and still. I believe this fight is going to be a lot quicker than it was in the first fight. Alex Pereira will knock out Jiri Prochazka in the first round. I'm calling it. But you got a guy like Jiri, who is so unpredictable. This dude has his hands down like this, bouncing. He might throw a fake jab, boom, right uppercut. This dude has one of the craziest styles, and that's what makes him so dangerous. But the one thing with that style is Jiri is so susceptible to calf kicks. Looking back at that UFC 300 fight against Alexander Rakic, Rakic was destroying his left leg. And what is Alex Pereira so good at doing? Those weird, funky calf kicks. And calf kicks hurt. Training with Diego the past few weeks or past year and getting hit by a calf kick, I don't know what's worse, getting hit by it or throwing it. That's still up in the air. But Alex Pereira's game plan is definitely attack those legs, keep your distance, don't let Jiri shoot again, and he's going to knock him out.
I disagree with that. If you look back to their first fight in November, that was less than a year removed from one of the most quote-unquote nastiest shoulder injury that anyone has ever seen. Dana White came out and openly talked about how nasty this shoulder injury was. Just the fact that not only he came back from that shoulder injury to train for a fight less than a year before, and not to mention, it's against the scariest dude in the entire UFC for the vacant light heavyweight title. Man, give it up to Jiri Prochazka because he is game as it is. But I think that's the biggest factor into this fight. He's had another 6 months. He looked spectacular in April, had a massive knockout against Alexander Rakic. And now he is here again. He trains all the time. He's focused. He is ready for this fight. So I'm going to go out and say Jiri Prochazka is going to win this fight. I believe Alex Pereira is one of the best fighters in the entire UFC. The fact that he has took this glory kickboxing world champion, converted him to MMA, and not only did he win the middleweight title, but he won the 205 title as well. But there is a thing that you mentioned that is very true. Jiri is susceptible to those calf kicks. Jiri was landing a lot of calf kicks himself, but you saw in the first fight the difference between when Alex Pereira lands a calf kick and when Jiri Prochazka lands a calf kick. Another thing that he does is he fights so awkward. He fights with his hands down. He's constantly bouncing. He's switching stances, which could be a good thing because he throws very unorthodox strikes that a lot of people don't see. Whereas Alex Pereira, he's very basic. He's going to walk you down. He's going to chop down that calf. And he's just looking for that 1-2 and that check hook that he's put everyone's lights out. But I think Jiri Prochazka knows that. I think he knows he's got to be more movement in this fight. He got caught being standstill. And when he shot for it, ultimately, he got finished with those elbows and those punches in tight. But I think Jiri's going to do it. I truthfully think that 2 weeks is going to be his advantage because Alex Pereira is off a massive win at UFC 300.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fight game. Anything can happen at any moment of this fight. But Alex Pereira is too good. He's too quick. Plus, the dude is an animal. His focus inside the octagon is unmatched.
But you've seen his focus change. You've seen his focus change
But
from
that
the
could've-
old
that could've-
Peloton
that
that we
could-
had.
but that-
the old Peloton we had was strict face, nothing, didn't do many interviews, didn't go on these world tours, didn't do all of that. You've seen a new side of Alex Pereira. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love it. I love his character. I love how he acts. I love his social media. I love that he's really interacting with fans now, and he doesn't even speak English. But Jiri Prochazka's focus. Alex Pereira has not been focused for these past couple months since UFC 300 because he was not planning a fight. He was coming off a massive toe injury that really hindered his training in the lead up to the Jamahal Hill fight. And he's been open about that. He's open about how scary that Jamahal Hill fight was, not just because it's Jamahal Hill, but because of an injury that he already had. So Jiri Prochazka is focused for this fight. Again, I think the most pivotal thing out of anything in this fight, it's not their technique, it's not their durability, it's not their wrestling, it's not any of these things. It's the fact that it's on 2 weeks' notice in Las Vegas.
And we will find out live this Saturday, UFC 303 on pay-per-view, ESPN Plus. Go buy it right now, and we will find out who will walk away with that lightweight belt.